Again? Really? So you all remember that bus in 2016 which said that we send £350 million to the EU every week, let's fund the NHS instead, leading many to believe that Brexit would help the NHS. Now of course that was proven to be a lie. Even Nigel Farage the day after the Brexit vote said that it was a pile of crap, but Theresa May, no, she's doubling down, literally. She's now saying that it'll be £600 million to the NHS as a Brexit dividend. Why? Because nobody's happy with the way Brexit is going, so of course, if it worked in 2016, let's try it again. In 2016, we sent a net figure of 8.6 billion to the EU as part of our membership fee. But generally speaking, we tend to agree on roughly 10 billion. That means that between 1.2 and 1.4% of the government's total budget goes on being a member of the EU. Now the size of that budget depends on how the economy's doing. Now I could go into how Brexit screws up the economy, but I've got other videos for that. Suffice to say, Brexit costs a hell of a lot more than it saves. But you should know this. The EU has 40 agencies across Europe which perform government functions. For example, chemical testing to make sure that the stuff that goes in our food and our products are okay, human rights monitoring, the European Medicines Agency, which was based in London, to make sure that all the pharmaceuticals we use are okay. Now the cost for all these agencies was shared among 28 countries. Brexit puts all of that back on the UK taxpayer alone. So the idea that Brexit would suddenly sprout this magic money tree, that is bull. Citizens from other EU countries currently represent 5% of the UK's population, yet they make up 10% of our doctors, which means that rather than EU immigration being something that threatens the country, it is literally keeping us alive. Now, if you vote to end the freedom of movement, you vote to restrict the rights of European citizens who come here. Now that is why we've seen a 90% drop in EU nursing applications and why 1 in 5 EU doctors plans to leave the UK. But don't take it from me. Let's hear what the British Medical Association has to say about it.
That promise of billions of pounds of extra NHS funding if we leave the European Union, it relies on the unknowable assumption that the United Kingdom's economy will be the same size and the money would still be available. It's a promise that has been proven to be based on fantasy figures.
Just Google British Medical Association Brexit NHS. See what you find, because it's pretty much them saying this is going to kill it. Now, because the European Medicines Association was based in London, the NHS got new drugs at the same time as the rest of Europe. But obviously after Brexit, businesses will want to get their drugs certified for use in the biggest market first, and that will be the EU, then the UK. So can we please drop the idea that Brexit will save the NHS, because it's likely to be the thing that finally pulls the plug.